Welcome back to My Mythical Meta, your favorite gaming podcast that's actually your secret friendship podcast. My name is Travis, and I'm joined this week by my two best friends, Derek.
Yeah, that's me.
And Randy.
How's it going?
My brother Benjamin is sadly not with us tonight due to a death in his family. So our condolences are with him and his family. Very sad.
Yeah. Sorry, man.
Yeah. But we are still going to meet, we are still going to podcast, and we're going to have a cool episode about something that Benjamin is not really into, and that you two are actually very into. We're going to talk today about online gaming, online multiplayer games. Y'all excited?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you are. We're going to start out with a shout out to David. David, you know I wouldn't leave you hanging for an episode. Still our number one patron. He's been with us since the beginning. I wanted to give a second shout out today to Steven. Steven is the person who put an order in last week. I was reminded who he was. Steven's daughter does swim lessons with my daughter.
That's so sweet.
So we were talking about what we were doing. I gave him my card, told him about the podcast, told him about the website, and then, bam, went on and snatched up a captain's cash. So I'm very excited that Steven is a new listener. Welcome to the Mythical Meta. So, listener, you can become a patron by finding us at patreon.com/mymythicalmeta. There are some great perks for being a patron. First, a 20% off code for eldoradogaming.com, early and ad-free content through the Patreon, and access to the My Mythical Meta Discord server, where you can hang out with us and play online games with us, like some of the games that we're going to talk about today. Derek, what is our surprise Patreon perk for this week?
Man, I'm so glad you asked. Tax season is right around the corner. TurboTax, H&R Block, any CPA you see, they're going to charge you $60, $70. It's going to try to charge you $100, $120. It's a crock of shit, let's be honest. Well, for one lucky patron, if you donate to this Patreon, instead of that $60 tax thing, you can get it for $4. And one of our trusted hosts will take care of that for you, as long as it's a 1040 EZ.
I mean, honestly, Benjamin could probably do it. I think Benjamin has been filing his own taxes for a few years.
I think anyone with a Pulse can do a 1040 EZ.
Oh, okay.
Put your name in, put the number in, done.
I don't know, dude. Kristen and I do H&R Block every year.
Well, y'all have a
But
little...
you have the house,
you got a little
and
bit more going on.
child, and
Oh, I suppose that's true.
technically you have your own business now and all that fun stuff, so
We did get a good return, though.
that's good.
I'm realizing I forgot to ask y'all what you've been up to this week.
Randall.
I was trying to think.
Well, while Randy's thinking...
Randy's like, have I been alive this last week?
It's just been work. I did some work in the game room, putting up the Funko Pops and other figurines.
Ooh, nice.
So, trying to still get stuff organized here. I did not meet everything will be up by end of February.
Aw, sadness.
It's end of March and this still isn't done.
Derek, how about you?
Yeah, for me, I guess, okay, so the biggest milestone, I guess, is that I am on tomorrow, Friday, for us. I have my last run of my Couch to 5K program. It's like a 5-minute warm-up, and then a 30-minute jog, and then a 5-minute cool-down. And I've done that for the last 2 days. So Friday's the last day. So I'm going to knock that out and then restart the whole program, just running faster this time.
Wow.
Dude, that is really inspiring.
Yeah.
To see how you're just like, nah, man, running's my thing
Yeah,
now.
I'm the run guy.
Like, do you find running relaxing now when you go out? Do you just, like, put on a podcast or music and just, like, sweat your problems away?
I don't know if I consider it relaxing because it is still work,
Sure.
but I've gotten to a point where I don't hate it. I actually kind of like it sometimes.
Can you kind of zen out?
Yeah, I kind of zen out.
Like when you're
I'm just
running?
like for starters, I think being outside in the sun is good for your mental health.
Yeah.
But also, it just kind of feels good, I guess. I don't know. It's the same thing that people are always telling you, and this is coming from someone who couldn't run in January and is now running 30 minutes at a time.
Right.
Once you get kind of past that wall or whatever, that you like, oh, I can't do this, and then it's like, well, tell you what, Derek, if you run, to the end of this corner, whatever, I'll let you stop. And it's like, well, you came this far, let's go ahead and finish the rest of the minute off.
Yeah.
So it just kind of becomes a game of pushing the milestone as I'm running. But yeah, it gives me a huge sense of accomplishment every time I do it. I don't know what happened, but in February 15th, I did my fastest mile. I won't say how fast it was because it's embarrassing, but
Sure.
I've been...
Well, it's embarrassing for the general public, probably.
Yeah.
But for people like you and me who have spent the last 15, 20 years not running or not getting a lot of exercise in, it's still inspirational for us.
So I had...
So you don't have to say it.
Yeah, I had my fastest time, and I've been trying to beat that time. I've gotten so close. I'm within 9 seconds of that time, but I have not been able to push myself hard enough to do it, I guess. So that's my newest goal, is to start running. I would like to get down to a 10-minute mile eventually.
That really is something that I should get back to. When I was in high school, there was a period where I liked to just go on really long walks and runs. Mm-hmm. And part of that was because I would go on runs with a girl I had a crush on. But part of that was also just it was nice to just get out of the house and run around my neighborhood. Y'all remember my neighborhood was really far out of the city. So there was no light pollution, just lots of birds and wind, and it was kind of just being out in nature.
Yes.
So it was really nice to run out there. But then once I got to college, I just, why run when I can play The Sims?
Yeah, it's something you have to make time for, and you have to hold yourself accountable for. I didn't run on Monday, and I was supposed to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I was like, man, I just don't have it in me. And I felt so ashamed because that was the first day I skipped, so I ran Tuesday and Wednesday back to back. So that was rough, but I had my second fastest times yet, so...
Dude, try tomorrow to get your fastest
I'm going to
one.
try to push myself hard on this one.
Just do that Steve Rogers, Captain America, on your left push.
Yeah. I'm going to try to. I'll let y'all know if I can do it next time if someone reminds me.
Yeah.
You and I, Travis, need to probably start doing some sort of walk-in workout to get ready for Japan, because it's going to be 20,000 steps a day probably.
I know. I have got my new tennis shoes.
I'm shopping for some this weekend.
I started breaking them in today just a little bit, and I've literally been thinking that. I really need to start getting a walking workout in.
Yeah, same. So I have one printed out somewhere. It's specifically for a training regimen for going up Mount Fuji.
Cool. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, share it with me.
Yeah, I'll have to re-find it.
If I can offer you guys some advice... and to the listener, is that I'm sure you guys can do that stuff, but I think the real secret is just drinking a ton of water. More water than you think you should, because anytime I don't drink enough water that run, I get leg cramps, I'm exhausted, winded so fast. Water is the secret.
Yes,
a light yellow pea is the color you want. Light yellow. If it's clear, then it's too much water.
I had subbed to our hydro homies for a very long time because it was just memes about drinking water. But then, I don't know if you guys remember this, there was a news article that came out of a woman who died from just hydro poisoning.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because she literally drank 4 liters of water in a half hour or something.
It was a radio contest, wasn't it? Years ago?
Yeah, something like that.
But that happened.
I don't know about years ago. I think one happened maybe a year ago.
Oh, so maybe this. I remember hearing one a long time, not a long, but maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It was a radio contest.
Yeah, I heard that one too.
But
I also remember the one Travis was talking about.
Okay, but yeah, she drank so much, and
our hydro homies just got flooded with just the stupidest questions of people asking, "Am I drinking too much water?" And I was like, I can't even scroll for memes anymore.
That's sad.
Because it's flooded with really dumb people who think that drinking 4 glasses a day is too much. And it's that shows you just how bad at water drinking the huge majority of the population is.
Yeah.
But I couldn't have that clogging up my feed anymore.
I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it just wasn't funny anymore. Yeah. It was funny for a while because people would post quote unquote thirst traps. and it would just be crispy, condensating, ice-cold glasses of water. So it was a fun subreddit for a while, but I have drank less water since I left that sub, so maybe something was working. All right, guys, let's get into today's episode. We are going to talk about playing online games. Playing online with friends, playing online with strangers, and the types of experiences we've had with playing online video games. I would like, if we can, for you guys to kind of start from the beginning. Maybe high school. What were some of your first experiences playing online games?
I mean, Halo 2.
Yeah, I think
Honestly,
Halo was the so it went from like the LAN parties we used to have as like, I guess, kids, whatever, where we hook up all our PlayStations or our GameCubes or whatever,
Right.
so that we can play Smash Brothers or whatever it was at the time. And then that eventually evolved into, hey, this new Xbox 360, was it on 360?
Original Halo and Halo 2 were on original Xbox.
Okay, like, hey, this one has the ability to connect to the internet using an Ethernet cord, and that was, we were in the Wild West frontier.
Oh, yeah.
I'd played Halo 1, and I thought it was a lot of fun, but I wasn't like a first-person shooter type of person. But man, the memories in that game is a dragon I'll chase for the rest of my life.
And what were those memories like? What kind of games were you queuing up for to play online Halo 2?
So there was Rainey can help me fill in the blanks, but there's your traditional, like, team versus team, kill each other type situation, like a 6v6 or something like that. They had big team battles,
Deathmatch, capture the flag.
yeah, all kinds of stuff like that.
Right.
But then you'd meet
Blood Gulch?
Yeah, Blood Gulch.
Blood Gulch.
You'd meet people in these lobbies, and they're like, hey, let's play custom games. But that was the magic for me. Mm-hmm. And I guess I was way more extroverted and social than I am now. I don't talk to people. But back then, we were always getting people together to play custom games. Like, there was one where we'd be on Blood Gulch or something like that, where there are two people in Ghost, which are like the alien motorcycle-looking things, and they're the graboids from Tremors, and we are trying to get from one side to the other by staying on the rocks. We would make up our own rules to all sorts of games, and like some of those games got so big and so popular. Like, we'd have like one person's a zombie. Yeah, and like, okay, this tower power, everyone's trying to like King of the Hill almost.
Right.
And those game types became actual supported games by Halo 3 time.
Shoddy snipers.
Yeah, I mean, it was we were creating our fun.
I think the people in my Boy Scout troop were always doing pistols, no shields. Pistols only, no
yes.
shields. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they ended up adding that in Halo 3
Just because you
also.
had like this fast-paced, frenetic battle.
Yes, they called that SWAT.
And I think they were trying to recreate GoldenEye.
Ah, okay.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from Halo 2...
Call of Duty.
Oh, Call of Duty? And
For me, yeah.
When was World of Warcraft for you guys?
That was college for me. It was like 2009 or something like that, when we were first... I used financial aid money to buy a laptop, and Brady was already playing it, and he talked me into getting it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so yeah, if we're going to go to WoW, like, I started playing WoW...
We can talk Call of Duty.
Well, we're doing WoW. We'll go back to... God. Well, I started WoW in 2004 when it first came out. I saw a review for World of Warcraft on XPlay on, I think it was still Tech TV back then. It wasn't even G4 yet.
It wasn't even G4 yet? Oh my god.
Yeah. So I saw the review and I was like, this looks amazing. And I asked my parents for a computer, and I think they went to like the Home Shopping Network and bought one from online or from like the TV. Like, wow. It was, I mean, for the time, it was still garbage, but it did the job.
I mean, you didn't have anything
kids listening to this are going to be like, you bought a computer from a television ad?
Yeah, from Home Shopping Network, they're like, okay, we got jewelry, and then it's like, all right, we got e-machines. It had
my god.
512 megs of RAM.
Memory,
megs of RAM, yeah. 512 megs of RAM, which is a 64th of what I have now in my computer.
Yeah.
512 megabytes. It had AMD 64 Athlon processor.
How in the world do you remember this stuff?
I mean, you know, I took the 64 from that and put it into my gamer tag. That's why I'm Chuck 64.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
But everything was like, you need a number. I'm like, 64.
Yeah, that's true.
So now everyone just thinks I'm a 60-year-old man when they think it's my birth year.
Oh my god.
I'm like, I'm not 60 years old, you little. But yeah. Anyway, it was a real. I mean, looking back at it, like, oh boy, what junk. But it got me to play WoW. I had never played anything like that before, and it was like, even trying to go online and figure out like what I was supposed to do. I was so lost in that game. I had a lot of fun. Super lost though, constantly. But years later, I went back and started playing with a friend of mine named Mike. He got me back into it at the end of Burning Crusade and in the Wrath of the Lich King.
That's when I came in.
Yeah, right before Wrath came out, we were grinding through Burning Crusade to get ready for Wrath, and then I got Derek looped into it with the recruit a friend and get a free 15-day trial, whatever. So
Tyler Heath tried to get me into that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I think I played for about 3 days. And I was like, this isn't for me.
That's fair. It's not for me anymore.
Yeah, it's a lot, especially if it's something you've never played before.
That was in 2007.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been Burning Crusade probably. But Lich King is when I played WoW the most and got the most into it. Was part of a guild. Was trying to like actively raid every weekend. I think on like Thursdays is when they were trying to raid, because I think dungeons reset on Tuesdays, I believe. And
you said you were part of a guild?
Yeah.
So how did y'all like communicate and set up schedules and stuff? Were there resources directly in WoW to do that?
Yeah, so you had like guild chat,
Okay.
So you had your chat window, which you had like general, local, trade chat, but then there was also just like a guild channel. And so everyone within your guild, could talk into it. I believe it was lime green, if I remember the color. For the text. Yeah, and then that's where you just talk to, like, if someone needed help with a quest, like, hey, I need help, and you could see your guild list, and people would, if they were free, people would help each other out. It was really nice. I was never super, I guess, active in the conversations, but I tried to be kind of active in terms of like just raiding, but I really wasn't like trying to mentor anyone because I felt like I was still learning a lot myself.
Sure.
But I mean, that was when I was really hardcore into WoW. Like I was playing it, 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, kind of, it was a full-time job almost.
Yeah, it really like sucks the time out of you.
Yeah, war crack.
Yeah.
It earns that title. I feel like WoW, for a lot of like, if you're in a good guild, then you can definitely be pretty nice and supportive. But there is still a lot of toxicity out there. Yeah,
it very much falls into a meta optimization, like, oh, you're not the right character, or you don't have the right gear, or
your
points
gear score's
or whatever.
not high enough.
Yeah, you can't do this.
Or you're not the right subclass. It's like, oh, well, we're only looking for resto healers. We're not taking Shadow Priest,
Yeah.
And someone's going to be like, oh, resto isn't even a priest thing? I'm like, I don't know, man. It's been 10 years. Not that long, but it's been years since I played. I don't remember what everyone's thing was.
But you're saying you would find people who would still judge your character and compare it to like the meta choices?
Yeah.
Yeah, like there was an add-on that you could download, and it was basically so you could inspect another player's gear, and it would give like a live view of like what their gear was. It had like a gear score thing. I mean, eventually, I can't remember like when. I feel like that was basically fully implemented into WoW itself at one point. I could be wrong, but I feel like WoW just kind of eventually adopted that into the official UI of the game, allowing you to do that in that kind of manner. Yeah, so it's like, oh, well, you gotta be at least gear score 626 to go for these heroic dungeons, and you're only like at a 620. And it's like, yeah, but I'm one gear piece short, and if I go to that dungeon, I can probably get the piece that would put me to 626 or more. So it was a lot of grinding in pugs, which are, I can't remember what that stood for, but it was just like randoms.
Yeah. That's unfortunate that there were still people, because Benjamin has talked about that playing Magic Online, being like, I'm here to test out a deck, and people would get mad at him for not playing the stuff that's currently top in the meta.
Oh, because then they can't see, well, I can't play against a meta deck, and so you're wasting my time.
Right. Because other people, I guess, are trying to grind against the meta, and if Benjamin's trying some rogue list, then they don't get a chance to, quote-unquote, practice against the meta, even if Benjamin's winning. Like, even if Benjamin beats them with a rogue list.
Yeah.
They still are like, you're dumb, you're trash, why are you playing that? Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, there's just no chat functionality whatsoever. You cannot chat with the other person you're playing with.
Mm-hmm.
Like even in Magic Arena, there are still like emotes and little like word quotes that you can so they're pre-programmed in, but you can still just say like what, like you can still
Spam it.
just spam the same message over and over again and get trolled in that way.
Yeah.
It's really frustrating. So my understanding is that League of Legends was a World of Warcraft mod at the beginning.
It was a World of Warcraft 3 mod.
Warcraft 3.
Warcraft 3, yeah, I'm sorry.
Warcraft 3 mod.
So before...
Are those not the same game?
They were like 3 games that came out, and then that inspired the World of Warcraft, which was... So they were RTS, real-time strategy games, kind of like StarCraft.
Strategy, yeah.
And then that inspired the open world MMO that we know is World of Warcraft now. But those were a very story-focused... Okay. Not to say that World of Warcraft isn't story-focused, but, it's like, hey, you're a character following a campaign.
Yeah. So let's talk League of Legends now. I think that's the one that the three of us share the most.
Mm-hmm.
We did also play Diablo for a while.
Yeah, Diablo 3.
And Heroes of the Storm, I'm remembering. Mm-hmm. But that was all after League.
Yeah, so I had friends that got me into League of Legends, and then I think I got Randy in League of Legends, and then...
You got me into the Lord of the Rings one with Dawn.
Okay, before that, okay.
And then we all moved to League.
Yeah, and then I was living with Travis at the time. We had an apartment together, and I think you just would see me play it, and you're like, oh, what's this? So you got into it that way.
Yeah.
Which
the same way I got y'all into Magic, y'all got me into League of Legends and Diablo.
Yeah, we definitely got the better deal than you did.
No, it's okay. I mean, I still occasionally I still love the characters and the cinematics that they put out. Like, I still follow Riot stuff, even if I don't play League anymore.
Yeah, I don't super keep up with League of Legends, but I do keep up with, every once in a while, I'll check in to see what new characters they have. I check in to see the new cinematics for World of Warcraft every once in a while. I mean, they're always high quality. I'm like, what's the story doing now? So I get that.
Yeah.
Follow League of Legends for the music.
Yeah, dude. League of Legends music department is killing it. And they've been killing it since
Pentakill came out?
14? Since Pentakill came out.
Pentakill, yeah.
Absolutely.
God, 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's a long time. That's as long as Krista and I have been married. This year is our 10-year anniversary.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, if you, listener, have not heard of League of Legends, it is still probably the most popular or the second most popular. I never know which one is winning between League and Dota at the moment. But League of Legends is the most popular MOBA in the world. Multiplayer online battle arena. And both League and Dota are the same basic premise. Is that the characters have bases on the opposite side of the map, and then there's 3 lanes to get to the opponent's base. Throughout those lanes are turrets that automatically attack enemy players whenever they get in range. And then there are waves of minions that go down each lane also. So if the players did nothing, then the turrets and the minions and everything would kill each other at an equal rate.
They did show that, eventually one side will win. Just because of, randomness and, pathing and speed of getting to, the center. Eventually one side will win, yeah.
But is it close? Or is it just one side wins because of a few seconds delay from the other side?
I don't know on that. I think it's just kind of...
how big is the win if nobody does anything?
I think it's just kind of like a slow, push.
Like a slow
slowly
cascading.
Happens, yeah.
Yeah.
One wave will just push a little bit faster because they'll stop moving and attack a little bit quicker because I don't really know. It's a bunch of little bitty minor
little
numbers.
micro actions that stack up throughout the game.
Exactly.
But anyway, the point is that the big players are supposed to make these big moves, and then in between the 3 lanes there are jungle paths too. And the jungle paths will have various monsters that you can fight in order to get various buffs. I'm pretty sure that's basically the same between League of Legends and Dota.
Yeah, I think so.
I only ever played if I could play with one of you guys. I never would get on a game of League of Legends by myself with strangers on my team. And it's 5v5.
Mm-hmm.
So the obvious reason for that is that playing a game like that, a repetitive battle game like that, where The map doesn't change. The game itself stays the same each time. The fun that I'm going to get from that is playing with my friends.
Social aspect.
Yeah, the social aspect and trying to, have teamwork with you guys to beat the other team.
Yeah, same. That's pretty much the main reason I play League of Legends. Sometimes I'll hop on ARAM, which is a much more simple, not as competitive, just all random, all mid, one lane, pushing as fast as you can. It's constant team fights, so it's a little bit more fun. It's faster gameplay, I guess you could say.
Yeah, it's like faster, more chaotic.
Yeah.
Just like, and more team fights.
Yeah.
More randomness, really.
Yeah, and
all random,
I just
all mid,
wouldn't, I wouldn't play the normal mode without having someone to talk to.
Yeah, I tried playing the normal mode, which is the 3 lanes, and God, it's such a miserable experience for me. I know people like it, and more power to y'all, but it's such a do or die. Like, you need to be good right out the gate, or you're going to get just rolled on. And it's such each match is such a time commitment. Like, each match is like 45 minutes to an hour. I mean, it's kind of like playing a thing of Commander, where, maybe you're not doing good in the early game, but you could come back in the late game. But that game felt so disheartening for me in the early game. If I'm getting just absolutely rolled on, my rest of my team could be doing great, and I would be the weak point that's causing us all to fail. And I just couldn't live with that kind of pressure, and it would just, I don't know, really caused me to self-destruct. So I eventually just stopped playing normal altogether and only did ARAM because, I have 5 people there with me. We're all just fighting in the center, and there's less variables, I guess. So I don't have to think about too many things. I just want to think about fighting, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
The barrier to entry for me was the shop.
Yes.
And buying items. I still vividly remember my first game with you two, Dawn, and I don't remember if our 5th person was a random or if our 5th person was another one from that group, Justin or Brandon or somebody. But I didn't know what wards are or what their purpose was. Yeah. And I remember people being like, "Come on, Travis, drop a ward." And I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
And just like, I didn't know what they were. I didn't know how they worked. I didn't realize what the fog of war was and how I was supposed to contribute. Like, it was so weird not knowing what my job was. Mm-hmm. And that, in addition to the fact that the shop, I do think they've narrowed it down since then, but the shop has like 100 items in it. Mm-hmm. And without knowing what each character was good at, I didn't know what items I was supposed to get. Back when we had started, they weren't doing like the recommended item path for your characters.
Yeah, it was the Wild West.
Yeah, it was just, it was a blank search box saying shop for your items. And I was like, oh my God, I have no idea what I'm doing. I know that Modern League has gotten better. But I wanted to ask you guys, again, about that social aspect of League of Legends, playing with friends versus playing with strangers. And if you want, we can move on to more modern games that you guys are playing now, like Apex or Helldivers and things like that. Let's talk about what being in an online team is like today. Randy, can you tell us a little bit about what your team is like when you play Apex?
I mean, Apex, again, is one of those games where if I'm not playing with my buddies Kevin and Andy, I sometimes will try to get a match or 2 in, but it's just like, if I'm going in there with randoms, I don't know what their strengths are.
When that happens, you're on a team with 2 other random people, right?
Yeah. So
it's Apex's teams of 3?
Yes, it's 3-man squads, 20 squads on a map, and you don't know what like that person's play style is, if they're aggro, if they're more defensive. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times they just like, sometimes you'll have someone that's just off on their own. They die because they didn't stay with the other 2 people. They die. They rage on the mic or in chat, like, "What were y'all doing? Y'all got no one ever backs me up, blah, blah, blah." And it's like, bro, you were half the map away. Like, I don't know what you were doing on your own, but like, if you wanted us to follow you, say something. Yeah. But we went this way and you went off on your own, so like, you split from us. And they just like rage and then leave. And it's like, what you want us to do? And it's also, like, we could have crafted your banner and revived you, but you just decided to throw a hissy fit and leave. So, I don't know what you want us to do.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why I don't really play much without them. And also because, I enjoy hanging out with them. I enjoy the competitive aspect of it, but I want to share that with those guys. And it was the same in League. Like if I'm ever going to play normal League again, it's because like I enjoy, or even just ARAM. It's like I really enjoy it more if I'm playing with y'all because League has really bad toxic community.
Yeah.
I mean, people rage on there probably like every match. If it's not your team, then it's the other team.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember the last time I played a game of League and either our team or the other team didn't say at some point in all chat, report so-and-so, they're complaining all game.
Yeah.
So...
you were describing your experience in Apex of somebody who gets mad at their teammates when their teammates are randoms. And that just seems consistent with what we've been saying for half a year at this point. Of when you play with randoms, you are more likely to treat them as a hostage for your game. Mm-hmm. They are just a vehicle to play a game with rather than another human being that deserves that respect and dignity and the joy of a social experience together.
Yeah.
Because if that guy were in a team with his friends, he wouldn't have done that. He may have been mad, but then he might have said, if they were his friends, and if he's a good friend, he would have said, I understand where y'all were, and I made a mistake to leave. I did find this and this over here, but I got killed. Can you revive me?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times in single player, or not single player, in randoms, people have like main character syndrome.
Yep.
They feel like, well, I went this way, y'all should have come this way too, because that's the smart way. And it's like, that's the smart way in your mind. Mm-hmm. But two of us went this way. You went alone. So it's 2v1. Who's really the smarter ones here? The ones that are alive or the ones that's dead and complains that we didn't back you up when we weren't there to begin with? So
like there may be a game theory that's like, this is the optimal route for this map. But is it the optimal route alone, or is taking a suboptimal route with your team the ultimately better decision? Yeah.
So I feel like most games, that we've talked about so far, there's a lot of just main character syndrome. Just people expecting you to read your mind as if you were an NPC and to just follow like an NPC. And It's like, we're not... You gotta remember, your teammates are not NPCs. They will not just blindly, obediently follow you because you're the main character. You're not.
Absolutely. The other people on online games with randoms, they are human beings. They are not NPCs. I think that's an excellent way to switch up your understanding of online games. When you're playing an online game, you are not in a single-player experience. I think that was really insightful, Randy. That was good.
I'll try.
Derek, hop in here. Tell us about Helldivers. You two have been like, from what I understand, and in our group chat, you guys have been loving Helldivers. Tell us what you love about it.
It's been great.
Is its online community different from other games you've played?
Yes, and let me tell you why.
Yeah, this is what I want to hear.
So, for every other game, it's... You go into a match with probably 9 other people. It's 5 people on this side, 5 people on that side, and that's, you do that for an hour. In Helldivers, Randy, me, and every other player in that game are on the same team.
So it's only cooperative.
It's correct.
And every enemy is an NPC?
Yes.
Okay.
So
it's all robots and bugs.
Yeah,
right?
this one side's robots,
So
the other side's bugs. There might be an alien race coming out sometime.
You have my attention.
Yeah, but we are all on the same page, or not, same team.
It's a galactic battle. Like, all 500,000 of us are on the same map. More, not the same map, but like, when you're above a planet getting ready to dive, you see other ships. Those are real ships of other teams.
We think they are. I don't know if we actually know.
That's what I've always heard and understood. It is like those are real other players' ships, and like when you see pods diving out of them or them shooting lasers or whatever, that's actually like, oh, well, this player that belongs to that ship in their map, like they're calling down that laser,
Yeah.
Wow.
And if you see a ship blow up, it's because that entire team died and didn't have any revives, and so the squad was wiped, and so the ship blew up on the map.
Mm-hmm. My Hellmire, like the planet Hellmire, is the same as every other person's Hellmire. It looks the same, acts the same, the enemies are the same, I mean, depending on difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
And, you can go to a planet or whatever. There are 200,000 people on this planet. Look, we're trying to complete objectives. The game gives us new objectives or directives that we need to work towards, like, hey, liberate this planet, or hey, go get the plans for like a mech or something.
Yeah.
So we all contribute to this bar, this liberation meter, or whatever it's called. And once that's complete, or if it's not, we all share that success, or we all share that defeat together. So, that's what's great about the memes, is that, like, hey, we're all in it. We're all have this shared same experience. And so we can all relate to every one of these things. And it's been great. It's been nice. It hasn't felt very toxic. I don't know about for you, Randy. Do you feel that way?
Oh, I love it, I think, more than you do. You find some things more toxic and annoying than I do.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true. I hate when people don't extract and they want to play with their stratagems when it's time to leave.
Yeah.
Like, please don't risk this.
Yeah. There's always someone that wants to throw the 500 kilogram bomb
and then wait till the last second.
The landing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did that too a few times when we first started.
Drives me crazy.
Because it is fun. Yeah, but it's like one of those things, it's like, just don't let it drive you crazy.
Yeah. I'll just stop. I'll just stop being a weirdo. I don't know.
I know it's easier said than done, but it's just like...
I mean, that's such a small thing. It's 2 seconds at the end of every match or whatever, so it's not like ruining any kind of experience.
Yeah, overall, I feel like Helldivers is a really healthy community. Everyone is like, they'll come into your ship, you're all on the same ship before the match, you're saluting each other and chit-chatting, on the mics sometimes. Not every time, but sometimes people want to be chit-chatty, and so it's fun. Everyone seems to be in good spirits, typically.
Yeah, and, we do have the option to use voice chat and text chat, but I find myself rarely doing either because I don't like to engage in talking to strangers at all. But I can convey anything and everything I need to by just pinging things. Like, hey, there's a huge enemy coming this way, or I'm going this direction to hit this objective, whatever. Everyone just kind of rallies to that position without saying a word. And I love that.
I think the good games have robust ping systems to be like, these are people who want to play the game well with other people without engaging personally.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a smart move. I wanted to say that, obviously from what you guys have said, it seems like a really smart decision on the game developers' side to say, we're going to have our lore facilitate a strong social atmosphere.
Yes.
Like, the lore of this game, its very conceit is going to create brotherhood, family, camaraderie. We want all the human beings to be on the same side. And I think that's really smart, because it would be a very different game if you could jump in as an alien, or you could jump in as a robot player, instead of as a helper.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
That would be a very, very different game.
So glad that we're all on the same side. You know me, yeah. I definitely prefer PvE over PvP.
Same.
Yeah, and same here. I rarely, if ever, will join a game where a stranger could kill me and take my money. Mm-hmm. Like, what? I paid a monthly subscription for this? Are you kidding?
Yeah.
So what would you guys say are some tools of the trade for being a good online teammate?
It's hard for me because I really don't communicate at all. League of Legends did such a number on me, like, psychologically, that I've just I'm not even joking, and maybe it's not entirely League of Legends. I have completely shut down. I don't engage on social media, on Reddit, on any kind of post. I don't talk on YouTube. I don't talk in games. I don't want to do anything that involves a community, other than just to, be a shadow in the wall reading Reddit comments or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me, but I think if you could communicate like the ping system. The ping system is not any kind of, it just gives you an objective fact. Hey, over here is where I want you to look. And maybe that's an enemy, maybe that's an objective you're trying to do or whatever. So if you're going to talk to someone, maybe try to keep emotion out of it. Like, they are a human being. I don't think you talk to not that you, the listener, are a terrible person or whatever, but a lot of the way that gamers and other people talk to strangers online is, there's that anonymity. Oh my God, edit this out.
Enmity?
Yeah, where you can't see the other person, so they don't feel as real, even though they're very real and they have feelings too.
Yeah.
So if you just say, hey, let's go top lane, or let's push this objective, or something like that. Instead of saying, hey, you moron, can you get your head in the game and go top lane, or something like that? Like, I don't know.
No, I think that's an absolutely great tip. It's like, stay objective focused. Keep your communication in bounds with what the game is asking you to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a great way to be a good online teammate. Randy, you are part of a team that is actively trying to climb rank in Apex. What do you think are some hallmarks of a good online teammate?
Real quick, I wanted to tag on to Derek's bit there at the end.
Yeah, go for it.
I just wanted to add that if you do want to be, vocal and chit chat with people, like in Helldivers, I mean, it's really just honestly just, be friendly, crack a joke, and just, hey man, how's y'all's, dives been going? Y'all, just ask them like how their games are going.
Just only nice things.
I mean, it sounds like super kindergarten-y.
No, dude, that's why we're here.
But it's like, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all, kind of a thing. It's like just ask, hey, y'all having a good one so far? Like y'all ready to kill some bugs? Y'all ready to go to space Vietnam? The whole space Vietnam thing has been a lot of fun, and people are just like, hell yeah, brother. Let's go get those oil liquors or whatever.
Oh my god.
Let's spill some oil. Kind of get into the whole.
Get into character. Get into the
character of like, I'm ready to spread democracy. Manage democracy.
Yeah.
So I think that's always fun is when people just kind of like get into it a little bit and get silly with it.
Yeah. What's your rule of thumb for chatting with strangers?
I usually probably don't initiate chat, but if someone else does, I'm not. Depending on my mood, I'll usually respond a little bit. I mean, heck, if I'm in a really good mood and I'm like hyper, I might initiate chat. But I'm more reactive than proactive.
And what do you do? Do you push to talk? Do you text? What do you do for chat?
Push to talk. Do we want to get into this whole open mic thing now?
Yeah, we can talk. We can talk about chat. I mean, that's kind of what I was going for.
All right.
Is saying what are your rules of thumb for being a good chatter?
Yeah, push to talk. Okay, I know recently, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, we had a dude with an open mic, and I get it sometimes. Some people aren't good about doing the push to talk, or maybe it's not available for them because they're on like console,
Mm-hmm.
and so they have to rely on open mic and hoping that their headset has good noise canceling software built in. But man, if you see your mic is always just on and going, just stop it.
No one wants to hear what's going on in your life.
Manually mute yourself. Yeah, we had a dude the other day talking about, he was talking with his friend who's on the couch beside him, but not in game.
Oh,
so
that's the worst.
So we're hearing a one-sided conversation about like, I went over to Todd's house yesterday and like, yeah, we blazed it up, and I don't care if you smoke, cool, but I don't want to hear you talking about this dude's probably like 19 in college. He's like, oh yeah, man. I was like,
well, just that is going to ruin your game experience.
Yeah.
To listen to somebody else's one-sided conversation.
Yeah.
That's, ugh.
Or, they got like a loud
insufferable
fan blowing directly on them. So you just get the... That's probably awful. Sorry for that.
No, I didn't get anything.
Came through.
I didn't hear anything.
My audio went nuts on my side, so you'll maybe see it in the edit.
It's
great.
It's
no.
probably the Discord new. No, we don't need that. That's all garbage.
Yeah.
But Audacity's like, I'm taking it all. I'm taking it all, man.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
I can't wait to edit that.
Yeah, it was just just some blown into the mic.
Yeah, just a
yeah, or you have someone's mom in the kitchen washing dishes and yelling at them, and you're like, I don't want to do that, Mom. I'll take the trash out later.
The smoke alarm detector, like chirping.
Oh, a smoke alarm chirp? That's the worst.
Oh, it's
when
so
the battery's
fun,
out and just every 10 minutes it chirps forever.
Yeah, God, that's
Chris and
so
I
funny.
both just absolutely cannot stand when that happens.
I love the YouTube or the like Instagram videos where you hear in someone's background. Oh my God, it's so funny.
This is a good takeaway to like start practicing. Use the push to talk. as you enter the workforce, if you're not already there, and you have to do these phone meetings and these Teams meetings and whatever have you kind of meetings that's all online. Oh my God, please turn your mics off when you're not talking. The people who do this are brain dead. They have no thoughts in their head, just sitting there breathing just so heavy.
They have one final neuron bouncing around in their brain.
These are the people who are like, I work at my job for the last 15 years and this is where I'll die.
No, you're so right that muting is the social norm. Be on mute. That is what is normal in society right now for online communication. Be on mute until you have something to say. And if you don't have anything that's very, very highly relevant, then you should stay on mute. Do y'all still run into text chatters? Are y'all playing on PC?
Yeah. It's pretty common, especially, end of map. If no one's really talking, you'll just get like a GG.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just a simple, hey, that was a good extraction. That's all you need to say, just GG.
Yeah, sometimes I'll fire off a little message saying, I remember Rainey and I were playing with this guy, and he was shooting these RPGs into these bugs' face, like just a crack shot. And I was honestly in awe. I was like, dude, you've got killer aim.
That's nice. I always liked... I like to do that whenever I'm playing Teamfight Tactics. Teamfight Tactics is a solo experience. I'm not on a team with anybody else. And because most of the game, like in the periods where you're not drafting and messing with your own time, every time in between that, you're either scouting the other boards or you're just watching the fight happen. But during the fight is a good time to chat. So when I see that somebody has a cool composition or a cool team, I'll offer a compliment, or I'll say, hey, I see you're not using that Scion. Can you put it back in the, I'll look at somebody's bench and see they're not using a character and say, hey, you want to sell that so I can draft it, please? Just stuff like that.
Earlier you mentioned about Yu-Gi-Oh! And having stamps and all that, and I've been playing Marvel Snap recently, and it's kind of a similar situation where you have a few pre-done like phrases that you can put out there, or like a thumbs up or like a fist bump and stuff like that. And most of the time, people are fine. They'll do the Spider-Man like point meme, like if you both make the same play at the same time,
Yeah.
like that's fun. But there's no mean ones, and so there's sometimes where I'm playing and someone is just playing like a deck that they just somehow perfectly built to counter mine. Like it's like both of their first two plays are just like, well, that shut down my entire deck, or they'll just do something really annoying. I don't know how to describe it, and I'm just thinking like, God, I wish I had a sticker.
Well, it's probably better that they don't have that.
Exactly. I mean, I know why they don't. If you do want to be annoying in that game, which sometimes if I beat someone that's just been really like on my nerves for a couple matches in a row, and I finally win, I'll just start spamming like thumbs up, hey, good game. I'm really petty. I know I could be petty too, but I'll admit it.
We are not perfect.
No, definitely not. But I'm just like, God, I wish I just had the bird to flip these dudes sometimes when they just do really annoying stuff. Or they'll take forever to like they'll take the entire 30 seconds for every single turn.
Yeah.
The turn ends and they didn't play a card, and it's like, and they do it for every turn. It's like, oh God, please save me.
Derek, you had this idea earlier about our next topic. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I was talking about favorite games of all time. But some of my favorite games of all time is Stardew Valley. That's a single player. Well, it's got co-op now where you can play, I think, up to 8 people. They just had their 8th year anniversary like update, and they added a ton of new stuff. Like, it's refreshing to see a game being supported as long as it has, and being as beloved, and none of these updates have ever cost me anything other than like what I paid for. I'm trying to look to see, I wanted to see how many hours I've put into this game, but I can't see it from here right now. But yeah, that's got such a great community in my opinion. It's not like a competitive game, so there's nothing to like get worked up about with other people. It's like, hey, I like your farm. I think you put your cows in a nice place. Hey, you cleared this level out. Like, it's just a very chill game, very fun game, and
it's hard to get worked up over where someone's character.
Yeah, like no one's going to care that much, I don't think. I mean, admittedly, I don't spend all my time in that subreddit or anything. I see it every once in a while.
Right.
Another game I like is The Sims 4. I just like to...
I love The Sims 4.
Yeah, I love that game. I mean, like, being EA, they try to nickel and dime you for, as opposed to Stardew Valley, which I said, added all these updates that I have not had to pay for. Anytime I want an update with Sims 4, I have to buy a new expansion or something.
Oh, I know. It's infuriating.
But I do really love the experience. I've created like this one family that's kind of my main save file or whatever, and I've just started adding people into this world, and it feels very lived in, very kind of fun. I don't go to that subreddit, but I think that might be a different experience if you're going to like subreddit wise, where people hate EA and they hate how they're being nickel and dime for everything. So you might get people who are, like these enfranchised fans that are just like, man, this sucks. This is the worst expansion that's ever come. It might kill your love of the game if you spend too much time there.
Oh yeah. My Sims family right now, I made him as a single dude, and then when I eventually made enough money. How did I do it? I think I made him a computer programmer. But eventually, I went in and built my own house, and I built my in-laws' house.
Okay.
I just built it as close to their actual floor plan as I possibly
your
could.
actual in-laws. I thought you were talking about your character's in-laws.
No, my actual real-life Kristen's parents.
Oh, I love that.
I built as close as I could to their house. But I still had just my single dude and just the money that he had. So 4 of the rooms are just completely empty. And they just kind of get filled with stuff, as he does more jobs. That's the fun that I get in this.
Cool. I haven't done, and maybe I should try it again. Like the starting out with $10,000, and you got to use most of that to buy a place to live. I haven't done that in a long time. I give my character I use the cheat codes to turn free real estate on and hit the mother load command for $50,000 8 times or something like that. So I don't feel compelled to have to work. If I want my character to work, I can do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't had to grind out for money in a long time, but it might be fun to put that back in.
It's kind of like making Randy play Minecraft on survival mode.
Yeah. Now, you and I, Travis, we both share a super love for Cyberpunk 2077.
Dude, Cyberpunk has been a beautiful game since it came out. Now, Cyberpunk is in a category for me with Dragon Age.
Yes.
In that it is a single-player experience, which means that you're playing Cyberpunk or you're playing Dragon Age because you want the characters and the story. So there's not a multiplayer version of this. There's not repeatable battles over and over again. Dragon Age Inquisition actually tried to do this, and it was notoriously a flop. Mm-hmm. Just nobody really enjoyed the multiplayer experience in Dragon Age Inquisition for a long time. So the only online experience you're going to get is really something that you have to choose. You have to choose the right Reddit, or you have to choose the right hashtag to follow, or whatever, in order to get the content that you want about your game. The subreddit that I chose for Cyberpunk is called Low Sodium Cyberpunk. The game, when it came out, was rife with bugs and problems, and a lot of bad publicity around its early release. It was basically released in an unfinished state, according to most players. And so, I did not want, I loved the game the whole time I played it. I started playing it on, I think, Xbox One, and then I got an Xbox Series X, and started playing it again on the new upgraded system. And I just loved the characters, loved the story, and the bugs that I got were not game-breaking. Every once in a while, I'd see a floating gun or something. Mm-hmm. or I would T-pose while riding a motorcycle. None of that was immersion-breaking for me. I would just think it was funny, and I would move on with the game. So, Low Sodium Cyberpunk is all about people who love the game. So, the idea is low salt. These are people who like the game, and we're going to post cool things we find. So that whole subreddit is all about Easter eggs, cool interactions that they found, lore details, emails that you find on computers, ways the game will react if a player does something interesting or in a weird order, and marveling at how the game is prepared for whatever action you might take, and just saying how cool of a game it is. So, Derek, what's your experience been like with Cyberpunk?
Yeah, I bought that the first day of release, and thankfully I didn't have any of the bugs that everyone else was talking about. I was playing on PC, that might be a reason. I had a pretty strong computer, that might be another reason. But man, that was the first RPG where I felt like really took it to the next level. And I was like, wow, what an absolute experience. I used to be involved with the community. I don't super, because I haven't played it in a while. And I was waiting for Phantom Liberty to come out, but then I started playing other games. So when Phantom Liberty comes back out, I'll probably join back up to kind of, be part of it and see what people are talking about.
What do you mean when it comes back out?
Or, I'm sorry, when I finally buy and play Phantom Liberty.
Oh, okay.
I'll go back into the...
Cyberpunk 2077 is basically done. Mm-hmm. The only things that they're talking about now are like minor bug fixes and just letting bugs kind of pile up until it's worth a patch.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk 2077 is pretty much at the end of its development cycle.
I'm really excited. I think it's the game that I thought it could be when it released. And I loved it when it came out. There were a couple issues, but yeah, I think it's definitely one of the ones that really took it to the next level. And I have to, do an honorary mention of Baldur's Gate 3, which I think redefined the genre of what RPGs can be even more. Mm-hmm. But yeah, what an experience it was. I know that one, I don't want to spoil which ending if no one's done it, but I think it's the Sun ending where you join with Pan Am.
Oh yeah,
man,
yeah.
What a
really beautiful.
Yeah, what an experience that was. I was sitting there as the music started playing, the credits started rolling, and I'm just wow. I just feel like I experienced like a real masterpiece.
I've done 4 endings at this point.
Okay, I think.
And there are still some that I haven't done.
I think I've seen, well, I know for a fact I've seen all of them. I haven't experienced all of them myself, but I've seen YouTube videos. Yeah. The ones where like the real bad endings, it's like, I don't want to put all that work in just to get this bad ending, so.
Oh, I've done the bad ones.
They're rough.
Yeah. When you said favorite games of all time, I have to talk about Pokemon.
Oh, absolutely.
One of the reasons for that is, as you know, listener, my home has been undergoing construction. So my televisions they've all been packed up. And in addition to that, my dogs don't have free reign of the house. So they have been in their crates in bed just with me. And I have had a reawakening with Pokemon on my Nintendo Switch. I got back into Pokemon Home. I started rearranging Pokemon, filling up my Pokedex, going through my Brilliant Diamond, my Sword, and my Violet version, and I started trying to fill my Pokedex. I have officially completed the Kanto Pokedex and the Hoenn Pokedex. That's Gen 3. I am missing 1 Pokemon from Gen 2, and that's Porygon 2. Listeners, if we have any Pokemon players out there, or reach out to me through YouTube or Spotify, give me your Switch friend code, and if you've got a Porygon holding an upgrade that you're willing to let loose, I have tons of other Pokemon. In order to complete Gen 4, the only Pokemon I need are Purloin and Purugly. So if you're out there and you have a Purloin and Purugly, or just Purloin, or can make an egg of a Purloin, a level 1, I can do the rest of it myself. Travis here with an after-show edit. I just said Purloin about 1,000 times. It should be Glameow. I need a Glameow and Purugly. Thank you. And I can do the same for you. If you have any version exclusives you need or anything like that, let's talk about trades. But all of that is to say that collecting is a main part of Pokemon for me and has been for the 20 years that I've been playing Pokemon. There is a dopamine rush every single time I get a new Pokedex entry. Every single time I evolve something that I didn't have, or I make an egg of something that I didn't have, so that I can fill up that missing gap in my Pokedex. And we've talked about it a couple times that if you have that collecting bug in your mind, this is a game that can satisfy it. We've talked about it with board games, Gunpla models, Magic cards, but it is just something that's really, really fun for me. Now, the online environment for Pokemon, I think, in my opinion, is mostly toxic. And Derek, do you think you'd agree with that?
Yeah, so it's like one part toxic and the other part like almost like infantilizing. I feel like it's a lot of, oh, look at this thing I drew, and it's like I personally hate that stuff. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I like that's the place to share it, and I'm the one in the wrong. But I hate having to see I just drew Bulbasaur. Wow, that's pretty cool, huh? And like everyone thinks that it's like the most. This is the most remarkable thing they've ever done is they've drawn the first Pokemon. And like, oh, I've done the first 6 Pokemon. Cool. Whatever. So I can't go there anymore.
Our Pokemon became insufferable for me.
Yes.
Because I think the stuff I saw most often and what turned me off most often was the enfranchised fans being the harshest critics. Like, that turns me off. I go into Pokemon games the same way I go into a Star Wars movie, just with open expectations, just saying, what have these developers, what have these creators created? And I don't do a lot of like fan theorizing or placing a lot of expectations. And I will say that usually I come out of the theater or I come out of my first playthrough of a Pokemon game reasonably satisfied. Like, okay, that movie ticket was worth it. I had a good time while I was there. And sure, in my own time, when I go back and think about stuff, I'll find the flaws. But I don't want my first time to experience something being tainted with that bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
And so I like to just be an open book and let them give me whatever they've created. The only Pokemon subreddit that I follow now is our Pokemon memes, because it's people doing funny comics and stuff. I will say, in the same vein as we already talked about with playing online games and what we've been saying throughout the podcast, is that playing Pokemon with friends I know has been immensely rewarding.
Yes.
You know, playing with you for what felt like 3 or 4 years, you know, when we were at the end of college and living together for a while, is just immensely fun. Great rivalries, great battles, great team battles where we were able to team up against computer players. And Pokemon in particular is great to have friends with because of that collecting angle. Derek and I would always get the 2 different versions of the game so that we could help each other collect them all. And that was just something that was really, really fun for me.
Yeah, me too.
So Derek, if you have a Porygon 2 and you want to do a quick touch trade, or if you can go out and catch a Purloin for me, let's set that up.
Okay. I know I don't have a Porygon 2. I might have a Perugly, but I'll have to check.
Okay. And Randy, I still need your, whatever the name of that cat starter Pokemon is.
Yeah, I'll work on it.
Yeah.
I have tomorrow off, so.
Ooh. Okay. Well, I have the baby tomorrow.
Oh, kidding.
I know.
I'm kidding.
Ugh,
Those
children.
pictures-
Boo,
those
hiss.
pictures y'all sent today were so cute.
Y'all saw Marin's spring
Yes,
picture. She's the cutest baby. All right. Randy, top us off with some of your favorite games of all time and what somebody could expect from the communities of those games.
I'm going to hit up the single player ones first.
Okay.
Just because, I mean, I have to mention them. They are my favorite by far. Knights of the Old Republic on original Xbox. That is the game that got me into Star Wars. I had seen the original trilogy. I had seen the prequels. And I liked them when I was a kid. But Knights of the Old Republic made me go like, wow, like Star Wars is really cool. And first time I tried to play it, it was like an RPG, not in the way I had played before. It was like, it's kind of turn-based in a way. Yeah, it's basically, it's a turn-based combat.
Yeah, it is
kind of
turn-based.
thing.
It's like a real-time turn-based.
Yeah, it's real-time turn-based. And I wasn't used to being like, well, I want to hit the X button and I immediately swing. Not like plan out. Like you can plan out, I think, like 3 or 4 moves in advance of like, okay, I'm going to do this attack and then I'm going to do a heavy attack and then I'm going to heal. You know, you can kind of plan that out. I really wasn't used to it, but I went back and gave it a second chance and I own it. I probably have like 3 or 4 different copies of it. I believe I still have the original Xbox copy. And I was like, I'm never going to sell this game. It's my favorite game. I own it on PC, original Xbox. I have it on Amazon Games for mobile. So I'm like,
play it on mobile?
There's a mobile version. I've tried it, but
Interesting.
I don't know. It's not really for me. Playing games like that on mobile is not for me.
Yeah.
But I technically own a copy. Yeah, I think I got it for free. I don't really know what much of the community is like because it's kind of a game before. I mean, it wasn't online, anything like that. I mean, I know there's a lot of fan base out. There's a big fan base for it out there. I know that there's been talks for years about doing a remake or a remastering or something like that. But I think the most recent news was it got
canceled,
delayed again.
Yeah.
Or shelved again. Yeah. So
well, Disney has that new show, The Acolyte.
Yeah, I saw a little
that seems
bit
to be
that.
An Old Republic show.
I don't know. I saw a little bit of trailer stuff, and it was like, oh look, there's blood on some of the promotional material. They're going for edgier. I'm like, about time.
Yeah.
Oblivion, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion was another one of those games I probably put close to 200 hours into it, and that was just one playthrough. That was one playthrough.
That is amazing.
Because like I completed, I believe everything. I almost had every achievement, but I messed up but there was a part in one of the expansions where you had the like 2 options, and I forgot to save before I made my choice.
Oh no!
So that
you would have had to replay the whole game to get the other one.
I would have had to gone back like several more hours, and like, I'm not gonna go back like to something I did 4 hours ago.
Yeah.
And ever since then is when I have like 10 saves every 10 minutes. I swear to God, when I'm playing Baldur's Gate, it's like, open this door, not before I save.
Right.
Dude, I save constantly in games like this now. But yeah, I loved it. Like I said, I maxed out pretty much everything in that game. I did every quest, every side quest. I'm the champion of everything. I'm the leader of all the guilds. I am God in that world.
That's cool.
And then I think one that I've had a lot of fun with in terms of like co-op, the next 2, Dying Light. Me and Derek played that 2 or 3 different times.
Yeah, what was that, like 2014, 2013?
Yeah, we tried to play once with Justin, but that didn't like pan out. But Dying Light was just, I don't know how to describe it. It was just so fun to play with you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the free running. Eventually, you kind of become like a little Spider-Man, kind of, with the little grappling hook.
Yeah.
And just it like playing when it was nighttime. And those like super zombies were out, and they were just like scary. They were legit just terrifying fighting against those. And I just had a lot of fun playing that. And the same thing with Saints Row 3.
Yeah, I think about picking that up every once in a while and seeing if you're down.
I'm always down to play Saints Row 3. That was one of the funniest games that you could just do the most insane stuff.
Language.
Watch it.
Insane stuff.
Watch it not hold up though. It's like all cringe stuff now.
It probably very well could be, you know, very edgy humor from back in the day. But I had some of the best times playing games when we played that, just between me and you messing around, cracking our own jokes, and then the jokes within the game itself.
Do you remember what my character looked like in that game?
I believe you had on a purple robe.
Yeah, it was like a bathrobe.
Flip-flops. Yeah, a purple bathrobe, flip-flops, and
God.
some sort of little like floppy brimmed hat.
Yeah, and then
I
also
feel like
this just gnarly black eye for no reason.
Yeah. Do you
Derek,
remember
would it be
what mine
possible
did?
for you to get a screenshot for me for the video?
I can see if I still have it.
Okay.
Do you remember what mine was?
Yours was like this big goon Australian dude. I don't remember what he looked like.
He had the British accent. I gave him a mohawk, mutton chops to like a big handlebar mustache. He was permanently shirtless, covered in tattoos with the British accent. And he was just like the most thug. He was just very British thug.
He was Conor McGregor in the new Roadhouse movie.
Oh,
was
my
God.
Don't you dare insult my character like that. Conor McGregor in New Roadhouse is an absolute buffoon.
A comic book character.
The way he walks with like his shoulders permanently rolled forward and his arms bowed like he's flexing.
It's like a gorilla that's walking upright.
Yeah.
Like he's too swole to put his arms down.
He thinks he is, but like he doesn't, like the arms don't sway side to side by his side when he walks. They're just stuck out in front of him, and he's just doing this really bow-legged kind of looking walk, and he's like, "What's going on here?" And it's like, you are a complete buffoon. So no, my guy was cooler than that. Conor McGregor was just, that movie was something else.
I haven't seen it. I don't know what y'all are talking about.
Oh, you'll see the memes eventually.
It's on Amazon. It's
Okay.
on Amazon. It's free to watch. It's just the new
great.
Roadhouse. I mean,
I'll watch it with Marin tomorrow.
It has
Jake
Jake Gyllenhaal. So I was like, I'm gonna give it a shot. I love Jake Gyllenhaal.
Okay.
Don't let
Yeah.
Taylor Swift
But
hear
then
you
it,
say
but
that.
then it wasn't good.
I don't give a shit. I don't give a stuff.
Language.
Randy, my God!
Derek rubbed off on me.
I don't know about that.
Usually Derek's doing all the cursing.
I haven't rubbed off on anyone in years.
Ugh. And then my last one that I have listed is an online one. And I kind of mentioned a little bit earlier, so I want to circle back to it since we didn't get a chance. The Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare and the subsequent sequels up to about like Modern Warfare 3, I want to say was the last one that I really solidly played. I played a little bit of that
Call
Advanced
of Duty
Warfare.
3 is a sequel to Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare?
There's Call of Duty 1, 2, 3, 4, but 4 was subtitled Modern Warfare. And then there was Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3. So it was a continuation of that singular storyline.
Okay.
Because before that, like 1, 2, and 3 were kind of like set in the World War II setting, you know, so you were always in the Pacific or the Atlantic Front doing all that kind of World War II stuff. And 4 brought it into modern warfare. So you were like in like a fictionalized
is it all the Middle East? Yeah.
Yeah, it was fictionalized Middle East. Yeah, man, talk about the Wild West of online gaming PvP lobbies. Mm-hmm. The things that were said and heard in those lobbies could not be repeated. People would be canceled left, right, and center. The things that I heard, the slurs that were thrown about people, it was... You can go back and find old videos on YouTube of what those lobbies were like, and it was hilarious. Yeah. But at that point, that's when I played with probably the most people. Because I played with Derek, my brother, my cousin Dustin, Mike Mo, TC, my cousin Casey would hop on. A guy named Scott, we call him Big Worm.
What a name!
Yeah, his name was Big Worm. I'm trying to think of. Derek, can you think of anyone else we play with? Going back, Steel Curtain, Steel Woman.
Oh yeah! Oh my god!
Those names in a decade. Yeah,
we had a falling out with them, didn't we? Or I did.
I don't really remember what happened, but yeah, eventually it just kind of everyone kind of parted ways on that. Yeah, there was a bunch of people that I would play. I think that they were more Halo, but yeah, Call of Duty was probably when it was like, hey, are we all getting on tonight? And you'd have a full 8-person lobby, you know, for your team, all of friends you know that I knew in real life.
That's pretty cool,
and
that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, so I think that's probably the most friends in one time kind of thing. But I mean, good lord. The things that were said. Like, nothing was PC back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you think me saying the S word was bad, it'd just be one long bleep for about 15 minutes before the match started.
Oh my gosh.
I have a funny story. I was playing with some friends after school, and I was calling my dad for something, and I was on speakerphone, and right as he answered, I got killed or something, and I said, you may need to bleep this out, but I said... And my dad's like, what? I'm like, oh, hey, Dad.
What'd you say?
Nothing. I'm like, nothing. Sorry, I was playing a game. Sorry,
What'd you say about your mother?
Oh, whoop your boy.
No, he knew I was playing a game, but I think at that point I really didn't cuss in front of my parents.
Yeah.
And they never cussed in front of us either. Now it's totally different. I hear my mom drop the F-bomb.
Oh my
every time I go over there now. I know.
My.
Barbara, what are you doing?
Barb, come on.
So,
I was rooting for you.
Anyway, that was super toxic, but still super fun. Because everyone was just toxic together. And if someone was toxic to you, you just knew that you could be toxic right back. And it was just how it was.
Randy's over here, boomer gamer.
I am too old for that now. Born in 1964.
None of you Gen Zs can take an insult.
Oh God, I couldn't I mean,
you're all special snowflakes now.
I'm definitely liberal, but some of those people would drop dead if they heard what happened in those lobbies. They would stroke out.
Derek, give us some words of wisdom, since the philosopher is out this week.
Oh, boy. What to say?
Love your family while you got them?
I think, just cause general chaos. I think you should join unions. I think I've mentioned that before.
Yeah,
I think we are approaching an end time of capitalism in our lifetimes.
Seize the means of production.
Yeah, it's time to seize the means of production, decapitate CEOs.
Is it time for the masses to
rise up,
storm the mansions of LA and New York?
Please, let's get this show on the road.
Let's get it started.
Lock 'em up.
I want to try my hand at some words of wisdom.
Okay.
This podcast is about having healthy and fun social interactions. None of that is a promise with online strangers. You already have a barrier if you're playing online because you're already trying to work through your computer screen, through the internet. So there's already some barriers there. And then if it's a stranger still on the other side of all of those barriers, you are just very unlikely to have a great social interaction. In order to get something good out of a stranger on the internet, it takes a lot of effort and over-exertion of, good manners. You have to be really nice and really accommodating. And you need to decide, listener, if that's worth it to play the game. The other side of that is like what Derek has talked about. Just be a mute, be a lurker, and use your pings in order to play your game most effectively. Or you can be like Randy and play games only with people that you know. Or not only, but, you know, preferably with people that you actually know in real life. You know, he plays with us, he talks about his other friends that he's on his Apex team with, and that is one of your ways to have healthy gaming interactions online. All right, how do y'all think I did?
I think that was good.
I think you did good.
Worthy of the man himself.
We'll see. We'll see. We need Benjamin back. Thank you guys for listening. Remember that if you have questions, you can contact us directly at mymythicalmeta@eldoradogaming.com. Don't forget to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/mymythicalmeta. There's only one tier available right now. It's $4 a month, and you should think of that like $1 per episode in order to get, you know, highly personal attention from us in the Discord server. And don't forget about that early and ad-free content and the 20% off code for Eldorado Gaming. Even if you don't join our Patreon, there is still a code for eldoradogaming.com just for listening to the podcast, and that's the code META for 10% off. Thank you guys for listening, and Derek and Randy, thank you guys so much for being my great friends. Adios.
Later.
Goodbye and farewell.
This episode was sponsored by Eldorado Gaming. Use the promo code META for 10% off your order. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. This episode was edited by me, Travis Konishek, and our intro and outro music is by Tyler Heath of the Oh Hellos.